and state-abandoned structures.
So many abandoned and underutilized buildings currently floods the nation's landscape. And Lagos, the former seat of the federal government, is littered with most of these multimillionaire structures which are mostly owned by the federal government and are now in ruins. Some of these buildings, which used to bustle with activities in the past, are now underutilized or completely deserted. We took our camera to see some of these structures. In Tafawa Balewa area of Lagos lies this high-rise 25-story independent building, which stands 300 feet tall. It was later renamed as Defense House. There is no sign of activity here, and the building is gradually showing signs of structural decay. Tafawa Balewa Square is a stone throw from the Defense House. This used to be the National Assembly complex, but has now been concessioned. Apart from the fact that the facility is not looking good, the front has been turned into a car park by cab operators and refuse dump site by others.
There's a Lagos federal government committee working on the handing over of some of those properties. Also, some of those properties that had been sold, the owners really have not regularized.
Another sorry sight of government abandoned buildings is the former Federal Secretariat, Ikoyi, which has been taken over by weed. And we gathered that this structure was concessioned over 5 years ago and since then has remained like this as a result of an unresolved dispute between Lagos State government and the concessionaire.
The state would rather use it for commercial. Then if it's for residential, the state will use it for residential because for every use, you have a different demand. The traffic that a commercial development will generate is different from the traffic that a residential development will generate. What Lagos State will do with those buildings will depend on what the operative development plan dictates.
This 35-year-old structure now lies in ruins, but some experts do not agree with the position of the Lagos State government on this.
The buyer of that property I think bought it with a view to redeveloping it into converting it into flats, residential apartments. And that would have been a good thing, in my opinion, because that would have addressed, it would have gone a long way to address the homelessness problem that exists in Lagos. I totally disagree with the very idea that it should remain as offices when there is really no need for offices. There is no use for it.
More worrisome is the fact that most of these abandoned government structures were valued at several millions of naira at the time they were built.
The Minister of Lands and Housing has, been working on a plan to actually deal with those projects that you may think they are abandoned. So they're not abandoned, and work is already ongoing in terms of what to do with them.
The Lagos State School of Public Health Nursing Complex, located along Awolowo Road in Ikoyi, is another unpleasant subject of underutilized public structure, and the signs are all over it.
My ministry has done an inventory throughout the state, and you will observe that I think that was the 22nd April, Monday 22nd April, there was a publication.
We also visited the Nitel building located along Takatunubu in Victoria Island. That the gates were shut, except for the security man who confirmed that no work activities take place here. But he did not allow a camera inside the building.
Every ministry should collate the number of buildings. They should identify, they should enumerate the number of buildings that they have that are not being optimally used in Lagos State. There should be an audit of staff using the buildings. Whatever the balance of building that is left should be handed over to the Bureau for Public Enterprises, and they should dispose of everything via public offers, public bids.
Government abandoned buildings are not only limited to Lagos State, but all over the country. However, it is imperative that government at all levels look into this and save these structures built with taxpayers' money from further ruins. Okechukwu was reporting for Channels Television News.
To the south now.